Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 72. We got a good lineup for you ahead of UFC Columbus on Saturday night. First up, we're going to be joined by one half of the main event and Chris Daukaus to preview his heavyweight fight against Curtis Blades and how this one kind of came together. Obviously, Blachowicz and Rakic are supposed to headline this event. It ends up, Blachowicz ends up getting hurt. Then not even that long later, it was revealed that Blades and Daukaus are going to fight one another. This is actually a really intriguing matchup, an important matchup for both guys. Both guys are looking to kind of remain in that title picture. A loss kind of sets both guys back a bit, but this kind of interesting. Daukaus coming back just 3 months after getting knocked out by Lewis, a lot sooner than a lot of people thought. But he was telling me in this interview that he thought this is the perfect time for him, and he actually really likes this matchup as he can finally show off how good his wrestling and takedown defense is. We're then going to be joined by Max Griffin, who gets a big step up here to fight Neil Magny. Max has been asking for a ranked guy for a while after beating Carlos Condon. He was calling out Santiago Ponzinibbio and guys near the bottom of the rankings. He now gets 9th ranked Neil Magny, who he did not expect to get, but he thinks this is a fight that he can go out and kind of bring the fight to Neil. He knows Magny is one to kind of make the fights boring, is what he said, and he likes to kind of just clinch and run away from strikes. He said he's not going to let Magny do that. He's going to go right into his face, and he believes if he can pressure Magny, that's where he's going to find that knockout punch. And we close things out talking to Columbus's own Matt Brown to preview his hometown fight against Brian Barberena. So I talk to Matt quite often, and when they announced his Columbus card, he actually texted me. That's how I found out they were getting this Columbus card. He said, "Do you know they're going to Columbus? I'm not on it though," and he was kind of very frustrated about that. So I even checking up on him. Sean Shelby McMahon kept on saying, "Oh yeah, the card's full. The card's full. We can't get you on." After a bunch of pleading, they finally get him on, rebook him against Brian Barberena, who's supposed to fight last December. Matt obviously tested positive for COVID, so he couldn't take that fight. And now here they are ready to go. Matt Brown's really looking forward to this one. Gets that hometown fight, and he thinks it's one where he can get a big knockout in front of his hometown crowd. But really good episode. Be sure to share the show, subscribe, and thank you all for listening. All right, we're joined by UFC heavyweight Chris Daukaus, who's headlining another card. Chris, how's it going, man?
How are you, brother? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, obviously, when we talked before the Lewis fight, you were kind of surprised you were getting a headlining spot. You didn't think you were really there yet. Now back to back, like, what's that kind of like for you?
I still don't think I'm there yet, but if the UFC wants to keep, giving me main events, who am I to say no? So whatever they call and ask me, am I available on this date? I always say yes.
How did this one come together? Because obviously this Columbus card was supposed to be headlined by Blachowicz, Rakic.
Yeah.
That fight fell out. And then it was like almost like 2-3 weeks before you guys kind of fight happened. Like, how did that kind of happen? Like, did you reach out and say, I'm open for that? Or did they kind of reach out to you?
No, it was kind of like a UFC was kind of asking when I wanted to fight again. I gave them a bunch of dates. I said pretty much, from this date to this date, strictly because my wife's pregnant. So we're expecting the baby end of June. So I don't really want to be traveling anywhere close to the due date. So I pretty much told them I'll fight up until it was like June 4th or something. It's like the first Saturday in June. I said give myself a little bit of time to recover. My brother ready for his fight, which he just fought. And then after that, I'm ready to go. And they really just settled on this date. It wasn't like hey, can I get this date? Or, hey, I'd much rather have this. It was kind of like, how do you feel about doing this? And I said, sure, why not?
Well, congrats on the kid. Is that your first?
Thank you.
Is it second?
Second. Yeah. So really excited. We'll see how the other one, accepts the second one. But I'm real excited, man.
And then I think after the last fight too, like I think Blades everyone kind of paired you two up together. Like, is that the guy you kind of thought would be next for yourself?
No, to be honest with you, no. I kind of thought I was going to head back in the rankings a little bit, maybe a guy closer to my position in the rankings. I mean, Blades is number 4. He's been number 4 for a while now. So yeah, I didn't expect to get him, but I'm not one to turn fights down. I want to fight the best guys. Obviously, Curtis is one of the best guys in the world. I think, he's the most dominant wrestler in the heavyweight division. He's got the most takedowns in a fight. I think he's got the most takedowns in heavyweight history. So yeah, it's going to be a true test. And then I'm really, really excited to test myself against, clearly I think one of the best guys in the world is.
And the big news too is it's in Columbus in front of fans. Like, how excited is
Yeah,
that for you? Where you're not
yeah,
at the Apex?
yeah. I'm real excited about that. I had the fan experience on the Ortega Volkanovski card. I fell in love with the way that the fans are and all that. And now that I'm headlining that card, it's really great. And I'm really excited to just kind of fight outside of Vegas. I mean, Vegas is awesome. I love fighting there. I love traveling there. Where my brother fights, I love going out there. But it's really cool to start seeing. Like I've driven through Ohio. I've never stopped to see anything. So it'll be cool to spend a week in Ohio and get ready for a fight.
And with the fight being in Columbus, it's obviously the bigger octagon. Like, do you think that's a big benefit for this fight, especially with blades, and then you have more room to kind of avoid the
Yeah, definitely.
takedowns?
Yeah, yeah, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword, It's more opportunity to avoid the takedowns, but then if I get taken down in the open mat, that cage is really far away trying to help myself get back up. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm just excited to fight again, man. I just want to have that feeling again of like smelling the gloves and like getting ready and just going through like the fight week preparations and everything like that. I loved it, when my brother does it, and I love it when I do it. So I miss that stuff.
What do you make of Curtis Blades? Because like he's only ever lost to two guys, and Ngannou and Derek Lewis, who are like
Yeah,
two of the hardest hitters probably like
yeah,
in the history of the sport.
yeah,
And other than that, like he just kind of dominates everyone, just kind of
yeah,
runs through them with his wrestling.
yeah. He's obviously I think that he's the best guy who hasn't held a belt yet in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. Um, that's just the luck of the draw and the luck on some of those fights that he's had in the past. Like you said, he's ran into Derek Lewis, like we all have, and things happen when you fight Derek Lewis. He's very good. He's a very good fighter. I think he's one of the best in the world. And like I said, he's the best guy I think in the heavyweight division who hasn't held a belt yet. And you know, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that he doesn't hold a belt anytime soon. But yeah, much respect to Curtis and what he's accomplished and him as a fighter.
I was talking to your brother after his fight, and we were kind of talking about your fight and how he kind of is helping you already for Blades, and like you guys didn't really know it just because whenever you
Yeah,
train together, like his whole style is just get you down to the ground and hold you down. It's
that's
like
his
how
whole
much of a
style.
benefit is having Kyle preparing for Curtis?
It's awesome. I mean, now granted, Kyle's not 260 pounds, but his tenacity and his chain wrestling skills and his wall work is just something that I truly appreciate to have in the gym on a daily basis. Like it's we were just training today, and it was fun going back and forth and wrestling and doing all that stuff. I mean, that's what I want. It's the challenge of being able to figure that out because Kyle can do that to a lot of people, and the world's going to see that. And if I can stop his takedowns and start mitigating his wrestling and his offensive wrestling, it'll it's going to transition well into the Blades fight.
How important do you think like knees and uppercuts will be? Because obviously that's how Lewis knocked out, and Rosenstruck kind of had some success with that too
Yeah,
when he's coming in.
yeah, it's definitely going to be a factor. Obviously, it's a fight. I can't rely on one thing. If I don't land an uppercut, let's just say I don't land an uppercut, my whole game plan goes out the window. There's really, it's like I need to land an uppercut, and even if I do land it, there's no saying that he's going to go to sleep or I'm going to hurt him. He could, shoot in. I hit him with an uppercut. It stands him up. He looks at me and he laughs at me. Like that's a possibility. That's a real possibility. So obviously, there's things that we're working on. With being able to touch him and mitigating his offensive wrestling. But I can't rely on one thing and expect that to work and then just be the shit out of luck if it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Are you gonna try to like limit the kicks just because obviously if he can catch it, it's easier when you're off balance?
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to kick a wrestler, but if I have an opening where I feel that I can land a big heavy leg kick or a jumping switch kick, I'm gonna fucking throw it. Yeah, why not?
How do you kind of see it playing out? Just because obviously Curtis has been knocked out, you obviously have a lot of
Yeah.
power, but the wrestling defense I think is going to be a big part of your how you win.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a high pace fight. Curtis doesn't really like to let off the gas. He likes to fight at his pace, at his wrestling pace. He kind of drowns guys. It's 5 5s. I have plenty of time to work. I just can't get any. compromising positions that could cause the referee to stop it, even if I'm okay. Like if he's landing little shots on top, I can't be just content with hanging out there. So really, it's going to be coming down to, I think, conditioning and positions and movement that is going to win the fight. Whether it'll win for him if he's better on setting his shots up as far as his wrestling and his chain wrestling, then that's up to him. But if I'm on my game and I've been training with college wrestlers, I'm ready to go as far as transitions and my defensive wrestling. I think I'll be okay. And this is what everyone wants to see, right? Everyone wants to see how my wrestling defense is and how my ground game is off my back, or how my ground game is, period. So what better fight than Curtis Blades,
Those are the first couple takedowns. Like, I know you're obviously confident in yourself, but when you get in there and you stuff the first couple, like, does your confidence only grow from that?
Absolutely, yeah. And that's just a natural thing. I mean, if you a guy and his game plan, and you're mitigating that game plan, and you can stop a takedown, or even if you don't stop the takedown, you get taken down, but you get back up and you're right in his face right again, or you keep getting up, he takes you down 10 times, you're getting up 10 times. Like if that's what it takes, and you're just slowly building your confidence, that he can't keep you down, that he can't do what he wants to you. And, you might be able to get, he might take you down, but you'll be able to get back up, and that just builds and builds and builds. And that's really, fighting is about being confident. And if you're going through that adversity of getting taken down and getting back up, you're just building your confidence that I'm going to be able to get back up. And then his is going down. He's like, I can't keep this guy down. I can't keep this guy down. So, yeah, definitely a big factor.
You've never lost 2 in a row in your career either. Like, what do you kind of think mentally does that for you? Because you see fighters, they lose one, they kind of just start going on a big skid, where you've rebounded in big ways after a loss.
Yeah, it's something that I'm actively thinking about, and I'm actively doing. It's just I leave things in the past. You have to have a short memory in fighting. So really it's about, okay, that happened. I accepted it. This is a whole new problem. I feel confident going into this, and I think that I'll be able to not start a skid, but to start on my way back up. And really, there's no better guy to do it against than number 4 Curtis Blades.
Going into this fight, do you think your wrestling is, people don't really know about it? That's the big kind of X factor, because we've seen Curtis strike, we've seen Curtis wrestle, we've seen you strike, but in the UFC, we haven't seen you wrestle or take down. Even it's that's kind of the big mystery going into this fight.
That's the big mystery that everyone kind of wants to see. If I'm Curtis Blades, I'm fully confident that I'm going to be able to take me down if I was him, just because of stats alone and his pedigree as a heavyweight wrestler. We'll see. I know what he likes to do. While watching him for a while, I know exactly, his setups and different things like that. Now, granted, he's a smart fighter. He knows things are going to have to be changed up after a certain time. People are going to start getting, hip to everything that he does. But I have full confidence that I'll be able to beat Curtis Blades.
Where do you think a win puts you? Because especially if you go out there and finish him, he's obviously ranked 4th, that puts you in the top 5, and kind of gets you right back to where you were before that Lewis fight, where you're knocking on the door of that title contention.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I take his spot. Really, that's what I think should happen as far as rankings. If you're an unranked guy and you fight number 13, you beat 13, you finish 13, you should take 13th spot. I just think that's how it should play out. You keep what you kill, in my mind. I go out there, I finish Curtis Blades, I take his spot at number 4. Wherever he falls, he falls. And then really, like you said, top 5, I don't know who they would give me after that. I doubt it would be a Derek Lewis rematch right away. It just doesn't make any sense coming off that. Maybe they would do tie. If they do tie, they do tie. I'm fine with Tuivasa, but if anyone else, you know what? I don't know. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know, because the UFC does whatever the hell the UFC wants to do, and they could tell me that I'm fighting an unranked guy, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm fighting an unranked guy. It doesn't matter. So whatever they have in the whole grand scheme of things, I'm down for it.
Well, I remember when I was texting you in the Lewis fight, you were shocked that even came together, and then shocked at the Blades. You kind of have no clue how your career is going.
I don't know, man. I literally just go to the gym, I train, I sign a fight, and then it's kind of like, all right, what's next? And then they're like, hey, this is next, and you're like, all right, like, what am I gonna say? No, what am I gonna tell McMahon and Shelby? Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, of course, I'm the fighter, and that's what I get paid to do, and that's why I'm here. So whatever the UFC wants to do, I'm down.
What do you make of the top of the heavyweight division? Like since your last fight, like some stuff. Obviously, we had the title fight, and Ngannou
Yep.
showed out his wrestling. Now he's kind of with that knee injury, the contract.
Yeah,
Obviously, I knocked out Derek Lewis. John Jones is always out there. Like, what do you
yeah.
kind of make of the top of the division?
I think it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. You got to think that Francis. I think there was reports saying that he's going to be out for at least 10 months. I would put that closer to a year, strictly because of rehab. Now, granted, he's a super athlete. He's going to have the best things in the world helping him. Um, I would just say a year that he's going to be out as far as rehab, the surgery, and then a training camp. I think that they're going to make a interim title fight. I don't know who that would be. It's going to probably be Stipe. I don't know if they do Cyril, right back to that. If John Jones is going to jump in, but there's the whole like you know if they offer me John Jones, obviously it would be an honor to fight John Jones. It would be a huge undertaking as far as fighting a lot of people considered to be the light heavyweight goat or the pound for pound best fighter in the world. But he has his legacy. I'm building my legacy, and I don't know if his track record and his history is enough to get me to sign on the contract. Just because, yes, I respect John Jones as a martial artist and what he's done in the UFC, but I don't know if I could give that man 12 weeks of my life and then nothing happen at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like if he gets in trouble, and I'm strictly basing that on his track record of what we've seen in the past. That's no dig on him or anything like that. I'm not trying to put him down in any way, but that's just me right now. I'm still trying to build who I am as a fighter. Still trying to continue with my career. But yeah, I mean, I hope he gets his shit together. I hope he does come back. But we'll see. If I was offered it, I probably wouldn't take it strictly because there's no guarantee. Like unless something happens after weigh-ins, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid to fight John Jones.
Mhm.
Like if I sign a contract, there's nothing that says I'm going to get paid for wasting 12 weeks of my life when he's just going to go fucking up. You know what I mean? But that's why I truly don't think that John Jones is. I don't consider him a factor until I won't consider John Jones a factor in the heavyweight division until he has a fight, whether that's for the title fight or that's someone else coming up and fighting him. But besides that, sure. I mean, it's crazy to see like Ty's right in the mix with everything. Derek Lewis is still there, but I don't know what they're going to do. It's really, and then you got Aspinall and Volkov, so who knows what's going to happen at the top of the division.
Yeah, I think if John Jones actually is serious about making a heavyweight move, which he's talked about for years,
Yeah,
I think you have to throw him in a title fight right away because you don't know how John Jones is going to do at heavyweight. He could get knocked out and be like, "This isn't for me." So
true,
I think you have to kind of make the most money right away. I think you
true.
do interim belt, Stipe, John, and then do like Ty, Cyril, or maybe you like Blades winner versus Ty. Because I think I wouldn't even be surprised if they did Ty Stipe as an interim belt, just because Ty's as like hyped up as he could be right now. You don't like
Yeah,
he's been on losing streaks before. Like Sergey Spivak choked him out, who isn't
yeah,
even in that top 15. Like I think you kind of have to jump on that too. So,
yeah,
but I think your point, like the whole heavyweight division's a mess with Ngannou at the
yeah,
top because you don't know when he's fighting, which
yeah.
then makes guys like 1 to 3 not want to fight because they might be the guy to get that title fight.
Correct. It's just crazy. And then I don't think I'm to be honest. To go back with the John Jones thing, I think Stipe's really smart. I don't think that he's gonna. Obviously, Stipe wants a title fight. I don't know if Stipe would sign on the dotted line for John Jones. He'll do it. He'll probably do it for anybody else in the division, but I don't think he'll do it for John Jones. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Just last couple of things. Obviously, you
Yeah.
said you had the kid going in June, so like you get a win here in March. Like when's
Yep.
that time frame then? Probably near the end of the summer
No.
or
If
fall.
I no I'm getting a win March 26th against Curtis Blades. Um, barring any kind of broken hands or real bad cuts or anything like that, I'm trying to get right back into the gym and trying to squeeze in one more before the baby's born. right before June. I told my wife that I would take a fight. Yeah, I think it was June 4th. We settled on the date. I would take that fight because the baby's born at the end of June. So June 4th is the cutoff. So get through Curtis Blades. I'll take last one June 4th. Nice big fat paycheck. Enjoy my wife having the baby. Be losing sleep for a couple weeks because there's nothing worse than getting ready for a fight when a baby's born and you're getting 2 hours of sleep here, 2 hours of sleep there. But then, yeah, after the baby's born, really, I would like to do the same time frame for the later part of the year. So probably right around my birthday, depending on how we go with the baby and anything like that, and then maybe again at the end of the year. I mean, I'm a guy who likes to stay active. I like to work, so I'm fine with fighting 3 to 4 times a year if I can physically, and making sure everything stays intact. But yeah, get Curtis Blades fight, win, get out of there super clean, take one more for the baby, and then we'll figure out one or two before the end of the year.
Yeah, because you fought on your birthday last year. Because yours is a
Yeah,
day before mine, just
yeah,
10 years later. I'm 99,
yeah.
you're 89. But
There you go.
just two last things. Like obviously Kyle's a big win. Like,
Yeah,
where do you think what you make of that win, and like what do you kind of see next for him?
domination. That was 100% a domination. I mean, appreciate Pickett for stepping up, but Kyle dominated him. You know that that's really all you can say about that performance. It was a flawless performance. I think Kyle got hit one time, twice maybe. But other than that, he showed his skill in the ground and showed what he can do. What we've known for him to do earlier in his professional career and what he does day in and day out in the gym. He just ragdolls guys, and it's really fun to watch. Really, I think he's got another big name. As far as someone who's they're both right outside of the top 15, like 20, like the 20ish, if you consider that. And then he goes through that guy, and then he gets a top 15 guy. I think that he deserves it. I think with the shitty year that he's had and the fights falling through and everything like that, he gets another name who's right outside that top 15, and then he just goes right into the deep end and he's running off to the races.
And I saw in James' interview, you got a bit starstruck with Habib. Did you get a chance
Yeah,
to talk to him?
I got a chance to talk to him. So Kyle was actually talking to him after the fight because Kyle was asking him about wrist control, about riding in the wrist control. And Khabib was saying it was about the hips. So then when we were all coming around out of the cage and going out the octagon, him and Kyle had another brief interaction, and that was really cool. I was more all like struck that how big he is. Like he's very big. Like I didn't think that he's that big. Granted, he's probably drinking Coke and eating cheeseburgers all the time, but he's very big. Like his head is like it's very big. It's like a bowling ball or like a basketball. Like I know like guys get big out of camp, but that man he's a thick man, as they say. He is very thick. So yeah, it was really cool, and I think he's really the only person I really get starstruck. I like his attitude towards fighting. I like his attitude towards work ethic and being in the room. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty cool.
Just last thing, when I was talking to Kyle, he kind of said, you get this win. He thinks that's the key to getting back to Philly is you winning this because then you're top 5. You're the headliner. You have Sean Brady. You have himself. So
Yeah.
how much your brother's putting a bit of pressure on you to go get
No
the win.
pressure, man. Pressure's
Philly.
fake. Pressure's fake. Pressure is made up. There's no such thing as pressure. That's fake. If UFC wants to come back to Philly, I'm fine with headlining that card. If they want to give Sean Brady the headline, that's fine with me. Doesn't matter to me. Give him. I think he's right around the same ranking that I am. Give him a top guy. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves to have the main event. I think he deserves to have a fight, and I don't think he deserves to be fighting unranked guys. He's proven that he's one of the top guys in the world, and he should get that kind of respect. But me as a fighter and financially, I'm taking that main event spot. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, because they could really stack like a Philly card. Like they could do you or Brady headlining. Like Brady could fight like not like just like say a Wonder Boy, like a name like that. That's obviously going to bring eyeballs, not a Philly guy.
Yeah.
You have your brother, you have Petrosky. Like there's like a full main card of just you. Philly
You have
guys.
Pat Sabatini. You have a whole main card stacked, ready to go. So I'm ready to go. Yeah, and it'd be like, okay, who are we just matching up with these guys? And we'll sell it out. UFC will make a shit ton of money. the venue is going to make a shit ton of money with beer and ticket sales and all that stuff. So it's the only smart decision. I don't think there's another city. I don't think there's another city in the United States that has this many fighters fighting out of that could sell out an entire arena like that. So that'd be really cool.
Well, Chris, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so
Of
much for
course,
doing
man.
this.
Of course, brother. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Max Griffin, who's got a shot to enter that top 10. Max, how's it going, man?
I'm good, bro. How you
Yeah,
doing, man?
I'm doing well. Obviously, a big fight we're talking about. We've been doing interviews for a while. Like, this is obviously the biggest fight you've gotten. Like, how excited when you found this out when you'd be fighting Neil Magny, who's obviously ranked number 8.
Man, I'm stoked. I was trying to get a fight for a while. You know, my manager Dave Hirschbein. We reach out to Sean Shelby and say, hey, what's up with the fight? And I gave him some names. I gave him Ponzinibbio, Jeff Neal, Jingling. And I think they were like 14, 13, 15. They were higher up. And they're like, we got something big. We like that, though. We like how Max is thinking. And then, I was taking the shit one of these Saturdays and got the text, Neil Magny number 8. Let's go. Very excited about this fight. Kind of skipped the line, hopped right into the top 10. Couldn't be happier. I mean, it's bigger than I even dreamed I'd get of a fight. I knew I'd get something big after, my little streak I've been on, and just, had Carlos retire. But to get number 8, oh, so great. It's such a blessing, brother.
And to me too, like, I kind of think you're on a 7-fight win streak. Like, I think everyone knows you beat Thiago Alves. I think you beat, like, if that fight isn't in Brazil, I think you win probably 30-27 on every scorecard. I thought you beat Morano. I thought you beat Cowboy Oliveira. Like, if those go your way, you're on a 7-fight win streak, and you're probably getting this fight a bit sooner. Like, do you kind of look back now that you have this fight that, like, a couple of those judges have kind of held you back a couple years?
Yeah, but now I've never been more ready. I look at it like that too. Yeah, I could have been there sooner, but I wouldn't be this good as I am now. I wouldn't be this prepared. And to fight a guy like Magny, real talented guy. We kind of have some kind of history. We were both on Tough 16 back in the day. So, I'm a fan of his. I've been supporting him this whole time. He's been in for, I think, 15 years or something like that. Not that long. He's not that old. Maybe like since Tough 16, he's been in. You know what I mean? So he's been in for probably almost 10 years. Been around the block, but he's just been chilling. He's been chilling in that spot, and it's my time, man. I know we say this a lot. We've talked a lot. We've done numerous interviews over the years, Cole, and that's another fight that I love.
Yeah, and I think even just like throughout our time talking, like, I've even noticed like your confidence in like yourself have kind of grown over the past couple of fights. Like, is that something too that you think has changed, like your mentality towards the fight?
Yeah, I mean, confidence is not everything, but it has a big, plays a big, a big piece, a big role. But yeah, I know what I can do, and I'm starting to kind of come into my own. This next performance will be my next best. It won't be, it will be my next best, better than ever. I keep getting better, faster, smarter, more intelligent, just kind of working my game, man, and it's working. And for them to put me on this card, also with the fans, I fought with fans last time on the Conor Poirier card, and it was bananas. Columbus, Ohio, supposed to be college town, kind of like a blue collar area, but it's college town, and it's supposed to be wild. Everyone's saying it's going to be wild, and I'm very excited to put on a show, take out Neil Magny.
Yeah, like That was kind of my next question. Like, obviously, the fight nights are at the Apex, but then you hear you're on a fight night, but it's the first one in the States, not at the Apex. Like, how exciting is that you actually get to experience the crowd again?
Yeah, I think they know what they're doing. It's not luck of the draw. It's all formulated. There's that spider web they have in the war room. And people want to see that action. And man, like I said, to do the fans enjoy it, and I enjoy the fans. I mean, it gets wild in there, and now I know how to use the fans. I don't let it bother me. I use it to my advantage, and not, don't let it kind of take over me like it can if you let it.
How do you think you match up against Neil? Just because Neil's a guy like he's kind of like he's very well rounded. Like he does pretty good at it, like everywhere in the fight.
He's good. Neil's very good, but personally, he plays it safe. He's real long, 80-inch reach, which isn't too much longer than me. I'm about 77, so it's not too. He's used to fighting these guys that have the 72-inch reach, 70-inch reach, so it's not that different. And he's gonna find that out. But he tries to play real safe, real long. He kind of just tries to skate by with these decisions. Doesn't really have much pop in his punches or anything. He just tries to kind of plays it safe. He has good cardio because he plays it safe. He tries to avoid damage, and then if you get close, he tries to wrestle you and like stall more than do damage. So, that's his bag. I got mine. I don't want to say anything. I want to give him any kind of clues to how bad I'm going to beat him, but that's my love for him. But he's in my spot. He got my number on him. So, can't wait.
If you look at like his past couple fights, like he's been able to kind of control the pace where like Jeff Neal didn't go after him. Like he just kind of stayed at that range. Like like Chiesa was like right in his face the entire time, pressured him and made him fight off the back foot. Like, is that something you even seen? As if you're the guy pushing the pace, like that's kind of where he struggles.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like I said, he likes to kind of control the fight, and he has good cardio first because he's from Colorado or whatever in the elevation, but also because he doesn't take damage. He just tries to play it smooth in there. He doesn't like that action, boy. He doesn't like that pressure. He doesn't have good inside fighting. He's kind of too long for his own good, really. His inside boxing isn't good. He's good at being long. But what happens when you get past that? What happens when someone that likes to just kind of point fight and stay away, and what if they can't do that? What if you don't let them? That's what everyone's going to see. And I'm going to finish them.
Yeah, that's something I want to touch on. Like, I know you always want to go out there and get that knockout. We've seen Neil get knocked out too. So is that kind of how you see yourself getting?
Yeah, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to get past all his stuff. I'm going to break his defenses. Take him apart. Make him uncomfortable. Because like I said, he likes to be comfortable and just kind of skate by these decisions, really, if you ask me. He just kind of does just enough to win. Yeah, he plays it safe. He's smart. He's really smart. I'll give him credit. He's a very smart fighter, but he might be too smart for his own good too.
Oh, like he's ranked top 10, so like obviously win kind of puts you there. Like how then you're kind of right up there. Like you could easily get like a top 5, especially if you go there and finish the Magny, because they've kind of thrown everyone at him, and even like Chiesa couldn't finish him. Like the last guy to finish him was Ponzinibbio, and he kind of started getting these big step ups after that. So where do you think a win, and what do you think a win kind of does for you, especially if you finish him?
I mean, if you look ahead of me, there's Wonder Boy, Masvidal, Bilal. Like, I'm in the mix. Vicente, like this is the real mix. Like I've been a big dog just kind of outside these wings right here. But then it would be like I'm crashing the party, and then it's all big fights. It's all big fights. And yeah, there's gonna be some noise. It's gonna be a spectacular fight. It's gonna be my next best performance. And then after this, like I'm saying, I don't want to look too far. I'm not looking past them at all, but just where I'm gonna be. Every fight's fun. Every fight is a fight that I want. I want to fight every single guy. In that thing, I wanted to fight every guy anyway. But now to actually be in the top 10, like I've been wanting for years, it's kind of all happening now. So I'm prepared, and I'm ready to beat these guys. Like these, you'll see. I'm gonna smash these guys. They act like I've been waiting for a long time to fight these guys. These guys have been fighting the same. They've been each of them has been fighting each other for a while. Like they've been kind of in that club, and they're all fighting each other in that little top 15. All the guys really fight each other, and they've been around each other for a long time. They want new blood in the division. And that's why Sean Shelby gave me number 8 guy, so I can make a splash. And then I'm going to crush. Crush, and I'm going for the title, making my title run, one guy at a time. And it's tangible now. Me being actually in the top 10 like I've wanted for years to actually be here, then it's road to the title, baby.
I do agree with you, though, that Sean wants new blood, because you look at that top 10, top 5, like Kamaru's beat like almost all of them. Like new guys have to get up there right away. And with Kamaru beating most of them, like you could be like beat Magny and get one more, and you're kind of thrown into that title fight because Kamaru's beat most of those guys at the top.
Cole, you know how it is. But yeah, new blood. I mean, I asked for 15, so no, give Max number 8. It's like, hold on. Thank you. It's a gift. It's a gift. It's an opportunity, and I'm going to seize it at the expense of Neil Magny.
Are you surprised a bit that Neil took this fight? Just because from like his perspective, like it's a high risk kind of low reward fight. Like he beats you, to the casual fans, they go, oh, he beat an unranked guy and he's ranked 8th. He should have won. If he loses, like to the casual fans, like, oh, he lost to an unranked guy. Now he's probably has like 2-3 fights till he gets back up to where he was.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know if he'd take the fight. I thought the same thing. Like he wanted, Chimaev, Kamzat or whatever. So you wanted Kamzat, wanted Kamzat, wanted Kamzat. Now he gets me, so I'm sure he's like, what the hell, But, yeah, I didn't think he'd take it, but he took it. That same day, he put, on his Twitter, I've never turned down a fight, and I'm not going to turn it down now. I think he's been wanting to fight so bad that he took it, but he shouldn't have.
Do you think like, especially the way you're talking, like you're a guy that always backs up your words, like you go out there and put a big statement win, like what do you think that sends to the division? Because especially if you can like run through him, it just kind of shows that you're here and like everything you've been saying is true.
I tell no lies. I tell no lies, and that's why I'm looking at this. I've backed everything I've ever set up, and this is going to continue that. The Pain Train is coming. The Max Pain Army is coming, man. In 25 days.
You ready for all the more interviews, though? You start fighting top 10 guys, more people are going to be reaching out.
Yeah, they're going to have to wait. I'm busy. They're going to have to fit into my schedule. But yeah, I'm ready for it, man. I'm primed for it. I've been doing a lot of media stuff lately. Even like on the commentary side, more of that kind of stuff. So I've been really trying to embrace it all, man.
Is that something you'd like to do? Is get on like the desk at the UFC? Because I think you're super smart and like super technical. You want to ask you for those predictions. Like you know a lot about the sport. Like is that something you want, or is that something like whatever? I don't
Totally.
need to do that.
Totally. I reached out to Karen Bryant. I reached out to Joe Rogan. I reached out to Laura Senko. I reached out to Paul Felder just to kind of get tips, John Anik. Getting tips like, hey, how'd you get there? What do I have to do? So they all gave me tips. It's mainly about reps. Getting reps at it. Locally, we have A1 Fight Series coming out here in Sacramento. Uriah Faber's part owner, but I've been doing commentary on that. I've been doing like the Joe Rogan fight interviews after. I'm gonna do something at was that 209 Beatdown. So out here in California, I'm getting my reps in. I'm calling the fights. I'm doing the color commentary. I want to get into that. I feel like I have a lot to offer. A lot to offer. So might as well make it happen.
Just two more things. Like, what is kind of the goal for you this year? Because you go out there and beat Neil Magny. Like, it's big fights from here on out.
I really don't know, man. I'm gonna beat him, and then just start smashing all these top 10 guys, maybe top 5. The title's mine, though. I want the title fight. I want the title shot. I don't think any of the other guys are really gonna be Usman, and I think he's gonna be on the shelf for a little bit. I think he's been injured or something like that. So, for me, I've always wanted the title, but now to be top 10, it's actually tangible. It's actually realistic and like measurable. You know what I mean? There's like a path. I've been saying once I'm in top 10, then you could just go down the line. 9, 8, 7, 6. I want to fight 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's and it's realistic. Sean will give him these fights. But who do the fans want to see me beat? I even want to run it back with Colby. We'll get that fight back. So I'm looking forward to this. Life's been a blessing, and I'm on the fucking rocket, man. I'm hanging on this rocket, dog. I'm hanging on this rocket, and we're going all the way.
Like, I don't think people realize you were pretty competitive against Colby, and that was like pretty young into your UFC career. Like, if people just look, it says, "Oh, you lost," but like that was one of Colby's hardest fights, probably of his career, other than the Usman ones.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you look back at the fights, I did the best against him, other than Usman. In all those fights, he wasted everyone else, ran through them, everyone except me and Usman. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to run through him as well, if you ask me. That's my prediction for that fight. Not even not run through him, but maybe not at first, but Kobe's going to get him.
Just last question. I know you had your son last year. How's life been like as a dad? Now over a year, I think it is, or just about to turn a year old. Like, what's life been like?
Yeah, he's been good, man. He actually turned 1 this past weekend. So we had a crazy monster party. He's a little monster. He's always growling, and he's a ham, bro. But he's good. My 10-year-old, he's big as hell. He's like a teenager now, which is weird. But yeah, they have the contrast, the baby, and it's weird. At least he lets me sleep.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. He does sleep, so I do get my beauty sleep and my recovery.
Well, Max, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Cole.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Matt Brown, who gets that hometown fight. Matt, how's it going?
Very good, very good.
How excited are you? Just got to start there that you're on this Columbus card. Because I remember texting you, you said Sean told you the card was full, and then they end up getting you on it. Like, how exciting was that when you found out that?
Yeah, it's very exciting, man. I think, it's, every fight is exciting in its own way. So, but it's cool to get to do it here at home. Is what, 13 years ago, I think, 11 years ago, the last time they had it in Columbus, and I was on that. And, to do it, over a decade later, man, It's like, this show's badass, man. It's great.
How frustrating was that at the beginning when he was kind of telling you weren't going to be on that card?
It was just surprising. I was like, why would you not want me on that card? So it's what it is, man. You know, it's weird how they do that. You see, like Colby and Masvidal. Why didn't they do that in Miami? You know, you see this in boxing all the time, right? The guys fight. One guy gets a hometown fight. That's very common in every other sport, but not in ours. That's a strange thing. I'm not sure why they do it the way they do.
And rematch or the rebooking of Barberina, like, is this the guy you wanted, or is it just kind of made sense to rebook it?
You know, it wasn't about wanting one guy or another, but he was about it, and I felt bad that he had to fight a guy on short notice. So it just made sense, and he was tweeting about wanting it, and then I said, well, why search for an opponent? You know, we'll make it easy on Sean, and I'm game, he's game, so let's go.
What is training camp like then? Just because you already did a full camp preparing for him.
Yeah, I've basically been doing, I don't know, 6-month camp, I guess. So with a 3-4 week break there when I got Corona. But it's been great, man. Worked out. I actually had a lot of injuries going into the last one, so I've healed those up. That time that I had Corona gave me time to heal those up. It was a little bit of a hassle because when I had Corona, I decided, you know, I'm not one to just sit around. So I was isolated in my room in my house, and I thought, well, I'm gonna remodel my bedroom while I'm laid up here. That should only take like 2 weeks. Ended up taking like a month. So
with Brian, like, what you make of his fight, the one that you were supposed to fight him when he fought the short notice replacement?
well, he took the fight obviously on, you know, week and a half notice or something, so he wasn't prepared for that guy, but he didn't really look very good. Maybe Weeks just did a good job of making him look bad, but the Barberina that I seen that night, I would have walked through, I think. So hopefully he comes up a little better shape, a little better skill wise this time, or better performance all around this time, and we can make it a real good war.
How do you kind of think you match up against him?
Man, I think it's a great matchup. He likes to stand and trade, and he likes to throw his hands a lot. He likes to be in the pocket and throw down. He's a high volume guy. He likes to clinch. You know, he likes the elbows, knees, and so I'm very excited about this matchup. But you know, the only thing about him is I think he's underrated, man. Like he was beating Luque until he lost in the last 10 seconds. He was on his way to winning that fight. He dropped Leon Edwards. He really only got out wrestled by Leon Edwards, and he was winning a lot of the exchanges. So, you know, when you look at, you know, these top 10 guys that he's really done a really good job against, I think he's a very, very underrated guy. And a lot of it's maybe just the perception of like the way he looks, right? Like he's kind of you know, he's not ripped up, and you know, he doesn't have like, you know, Edson Barboza clean technique. So, you know, I think you got to look past all that stuff and see, you know, this guy's a real fighter, man, and he's a real warrior. It's going to give anybody some problems.
How much pressure is on you fighting back at home? Like, obviously everyone wants to go see you win. Like, do you feel any of that, or does that add any of it to the fight?
Yeah, it's a good pressure. You know, I turn it into a positive thing, man. I think it's a great thing. You need that pressure on you. It makes you perform better. So I embrace it. I love it. And I want to give all my hometown friends and family a great show.
How many friends and family are you kind of expecting to be there?
Every one of them.
Yeah. Oh, what's that walkout gonna be like too for you? Because it's been a while since you fought in front of fans, and not even that, but like you said, it's like 11 years since you last fought in Columbus.
Yeah. Well, it's also been a couple years since I've walked out in front of fans.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an experience, man. It's kind of refreshing, you know. It's like taking a little break from having fans, and obviously I haven't fought at home for a long time. I mean, when I fought in Cincinnati with Eric Silva, I think I was 14 or 15 maybe. that was essentially a hometown fight for me. So, it'd be cool to do it again, man. The walkout's going to be like every walkout, but, we're going to be focused on one thing. But it's more about after the fight. That's when it all sinks in and when it's all fun again.
How do you kind of see yourself winning? Because more times than not, when you win, it's getting that knockout.
Yeah, I mean, I see myself knocking him out. Probably an elbow or knee. I just want to pull him into some deep waters that he hasn't been in, and he's a deep water guy. So, I want both of us to just be in those deep waters and make it a war of attrition.
Like, how much longer you think you got? Because I've seen some people say like this is the kind of the perfect fight for Matt to go out on if he wants to, just because he's back at home. But you're still fighting at like a pretty high level, so like you could still keep going for a couple more years.
I definitely could. I take it one fight at a time, man. I've never. I mean, dude, I thought about retiring like 10 years ago. Like every fight, man. You think about like, why do I do this? This has got to be the last one. I can't do this again, especially around this time of training camp when you just been doing it for weeks and you're just grinding and you're sick of going to the gym, 2-3 times a day. You're sick of putting on the sweaty gloves again. You're sick of people beating you up and being tired all the time and not going out and not hanging with your friends and all the sacrifices and the bumps and bruises. So, but I also enjoy that too. And when you don't have it, you really miss it. So I just take it a fight at a time. And I've always been that way, even, for the last, 15 years or whatever I've been fighting, man. That's the way I've always looked at it is let's just get the next fight and then we'll go from there.
So do you really care, like, if you keep fighting, who they give you? Because like I thought you'd get like a bigger name than what Brian is, just because of obviously your hometown fight and like who kind of you are. But you're still fighting like these up and comers all the time too.
Yeah, I think it's great, man. I mean, we're in the UFC. This is supposed to be the Super Bowl, the premier league of fighting in the world, and you're not supposed to be picking out who you're going to fight, man. My goal from the beginning has always been to be the best martial artist I can be, and it's still my goal. And that's exactly what I want to do is be the best martial artist that I can possibly be. It shouldn't matter who's across the cage from me.
Just a couple more things. I know whenever we talked, you said how you're getting more into coaching. We saw one of the guys you work with a lot, in AJ Dobson, finally get to the UFC. Like, what's it like kind of seeing him? Because I know you spent a long time with him. So what's it kind of like to see him get to the UFC?
No, that was great, man. Unfortunately, he lost his debut, so that was disappointing. But he's just a talented guy, man, and we knew many years ago he was going to be there. I think a lot of people have seen the talent that he has in that first round, and then the second and third round, things kind of fell apart for him. But I expect to see him really showing another level next time. I think it was probably a good thing for him. He was undefeated going into that fight. He didn't know what it was like to lose. He didn't know that it was possible to lose, right? So now he's got that taste in his mouth, and he doesn't like it at all. So he's going to come back and put some beatings on some people real quick.
What's that like for you though? Because for the longest time, like you were kind of the star guy out of Ohio, and now you're the guy coaching others and helping others kind of get to the UFC.
Yeah, that's great, man. I shouldn't be the only guy here. Columbus should be one of the premier locations of MMA in the country, along with Vegas and South Florida and Jersey and these places where all these huge camps are. There's tons of fighters coming out of them. There's no reason that Columbus should not be on that list, man, but it's not. And, I want to change that, man. I want to bring it all here to my home. Whether I will or not, I don't know, but that's yet to be seen. But that's the goal, man.
But I do think the UFC coming back will probably help that, because then people can be like, oh, it's in my hometown, and they start watching it that way and then get into it. Because like I'm up in Canada, and for the longest time we never had UFC events, so you never saw many Canadians get there because it's not in your country, so what's the point of even trying to get there? But if they see it in Columbus, like, I think that's only going to help.
I hope so, man. I really do. I hope so. It certainly makes it more personal and sparks that imagination a little more in some of the younger guys that are dreaming of it. It's got to give them some spark, man. So that's what we're trying to do, man. Is just spark the next generation. And I'll tell you what, we got some kids at the gym right now, man. Man, they keep on this path, they're going to be smashing some people in 10 years.
Is there any other guys that are kind of close to the UFC like AJ was like last year?
We definitely got some guys that are at that skill level and have that potential. We only have maybe 3 other pros at my gym right now, maybe 4. But they're younger pros, so they got a long ways to go. But you never know, man, right? Like the way this contender series, you see guys that are 1-0, 2-0, all the time on the contender series. So I think it's very possible. But I definitely have some guys that have the ability to get there and really make some waves in the UFC. And I can't wait to watch them progress through their careers, and it's going to be a great thing.
Just last question. How's the coffee business? I always have to bring it up. I've had it. I like it. How's it going?
Oh, it's great, man. Like every business, it's a grind, step by step, piece by piece. Well, it's coming together and growing all the time. So we're very happy with all the progress that we made on the company, and the sales are going up. So and the word's getting out. More and more people are liking it, and more people are enjoying it. So you can't ask for much more than that.
Well, Matt, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this.
Absolutely. My pleasure, sir.